Hello, this is Sheshachalam from AstroGuide Mysore, and today we are discussing a very intricate topic of two planets in conjunction and in Kendras, that is, in 1, 4, 7, 10 from the ascendant. Why it is intricate is because this is about Mercury and Saturn. Both are friends, no doubt. Both are friends and both are giving excellent results individually. But when they come together, a fast moving, intellectual, extremely, as Mercury is, it flows without getting stuck to anything, and it is flamboyant, is along with an experienced, slow moving, passive, sober Saturn. So let us understand how they work in the Kendras. Kendras, why is it difficult to explain this particular combination in the Kendra? We can explain this combination in the third house. We can explain this combination in the fifth house more easily than explaining it in the Kendras, because Kendras means that you are putting an input and getting an output. That is, this is a particular kind of placement, that is 14710, where you expect things to happen. It is not a spiritualistic placement. It is something like, a placement of an industrial placement, or a placement where you want to think and there should be an output. It is not that just think and leave it there. So, Kendras, the first house, I have written down, I will be reading it down because I have taken a lot of time writing this down. So, I will read this down, but I will also explain it in between. First house, the person is brilliant. That is because of the Mercury, but unkempt because of a weak Saturn. Very highly methodical because of a tough Saturn or a good Saturn in the chart. Slow and sober, that is because of a Saturn which is moving at a slower pace. Planets also have speed in their orbits with reference to Earth. So if they are going in that particular orbit of, a small arc where they have to go slow to cover the same distance. So we call it as, slow moving or fast moving or being stationary and so on. So if you see these avasthas, and if Saturn is a little slow moving towards the stationary, or it has just become direct after being retro, it will be slow. In that case, the person will be lazy but intelligent. Why? Mercury is strong. So these are very intricate due to different quality of planets coming together. If both are weak, then careless, unhygienic practices, getting involved into bad routine and practices, and not having the capability to take up responsibilities, because, first of all, careless will not have the time to do his own business or his own routine. Why will he take up others' responsibility? But if the same Saturn is strong, but Mercury is a little weak, I'm talking only about the ascendant. If the Saturn is strong and Mercury is a little weak, then the person will take up routine jobs as though it is his work, birthright. He is so happy to do it, like serving the old, taking care, palliative services, that is, taking care of people who are of old age, sitting there with patients, taking care of their daily routine, serving them, serving many other places, not only the same thing, so many other places where you have to do routine in and out, day in and day out, the same job. Intellectual people like Mercury cannot stay in the same job. So now, if I put a Mercury with a Saturn which is retrograde in the first house, I'm doing it in a little more laborious, kind of explanation this is. But anyway, let us say a strong Mercury with a retro Saturn, impatient Saturn, a person who is having super intellect will be jumping like, like a spring. Doesn't stay in a place. He cannot get accustomed to people who are sober. He will see all these sober people as dull, dumb fellows. who are not having any synchronization with him, whether it is people, whether it is organization, whether it is an industry, wherever he is, he wants things to happen fast. But if his time is going bad, these people can start investing money into shares, markets, because they want everything fast and go down very fast. And they will suddenly lose money. So, because they don't have control on their emotions, Saturn gives control on emotions because it is a planet of experience and it becomes retro in this case. Just giving you examples. If both are strong and both are in normal motion, no retrogression, then the native will be working in a routine government job, high level job, will be long lived if the sixth house is protected. See, you should understand, I can simply tell long lived, but that long lived can also happen if there are other conditions which are satisfied. So, if the sixth house is well protected, or else he will suffer from chronic breathing or neurological problems and allergies. We have the Mercury and Saturn in the Lagna, so suffering is also because of them. So if it is weak and you have a weak sixth house, there might be suffering from breathing problems, neurological problems, and dust allergies or other allergies in the body. Let us go to the fourth house. Working in various places with very less satisfaction can be seen when both of these fellows are sitting in the fourth house. Mercury in the fourth house is a great planet to be in, though it is not going to get the Digbala there. Digbala is there somewhere in the ninth and the 10th houses for and the Lagna for Mercury. But if it is in the fourth house, obviously there is no Digbala, but still Sukhasthana is a place for the mother on and also for acquiring materialistic luxuries. So Mercury is great in giving materialistic luxuries. So if it is strongly placed in the fourth house, it will give wonderful houses, big jobs, and all those things. So Mercury and Saturn in the fourth house only when they are weak will give dissatisfaction, and unnecessarily the person will be roaming around from place to place to get a good job. So if strong, the native will be associated with marketing, traveling, and transferable jobs. See, roaming around is already there, but whether he has voluntarily taken it is to be seen. So if it is a strong placement, then he will be roaming around for the purpose of job. So going away from family due to job requirements is also seen. So daily travel is normally seen in this type of placement. A weak combination with malefic placement can create problems amongst family members and friends and alienate the native from them. Both distance wise and also emotionally, the person will get alienated from the nearest family, the parents, the siblings, etc. Going to the seventh house now. A strong combination of Mercury and Saturn in the seventh house can give a native a very high level placement in the government as a servant in the government. Vigilance officers, and army officers can be seen in this placement. Top officials, if it is weak and malign means if it is having a malefic placement, then the native will be ignorant, dumb, and people around him will take full advantage of him due to his understanding, due to his ignorance, and due to his less knowledge of that particular job. They will take undue advantage, and this can also be seen as the buddhi manda yoga. Buddhi is the Buddha, Manda is the Saturn. So I have not spoken about Buddhi Manda till now because I was talking about many various combinations. So this can also happen in the ascendant, the first house. If both are very weak, the person can become Buddhi Manda. That means it has to be affected also by other malefic planets. So investing in stocks or businesses is bad due to sudden heavy losses seen in the course of time. May resort to telling lies and conning people, uh, by due to monetary benefits, he gets used to it, and he starts getting into these types of bad habits. So if either of the two planets is the sixth lord, let us see this particular thing. If either Mercury is the sixth lord, if it is the ascendant is of Aries, or the ascendant is of Capricorn itself, Mercury becomes the sixth lord. So the native may go through nervous debility. It can be either Saturn or Mercury. So this is for the seventh house. So going to the 10th house, this is a prolific combination in the 10th house. See, all here till now, I was telling that, oh, this guy will do this, that, here and there. If this is a strong placement in the 10th house, this gives rise to one of the strongest Raja Yogas. Why it becomes a Raja Yoga? Because Mercury in the 10th house itself is a very strong Raja Yoga, and now there is a friend who is trying to control Mercury and trying to control the actions of Mercury and put it into the right path. So this becomes a very strong Raj Yoga and will place the person very high. So he will, students who have just passed out of engineering will directly get campus selection as a manager, assistant manager in big multinational companies. So the standard itself will be set very high. With a normal undergrad, that is an engineering degree, they will get into very high positions. Not as a trainee or an amateur, apprentice. They will get into very high positions like managers. So Saturn, being the Karaka for the 10th house, will endow richness and wealth in a slow and steady achieve pattern. So they will slowly achieve that pattern to a very strong level. Because you should also understand Mercury from the Kalapurusha Lagna, that is from Aries, is the third lord and the sixth lord. The third and the sixth is the house of growth, Upachaya Sthana Adhipati. And Saturn is naturally at the 10th and the 11th. That is for the Udyoga, that is for profession, and Labha for profit. So when you have growth, profit, and profession, all three sitting together, what else you want? You will have all three together. That is, you will have growth in your profession, which will give you lots of profit. So that is what is called as a Raja Yoga when it sits in the 10th house. And this person will be head of a group of like-minded people. He will not allow anybody to creep in with an ulterior motive. He has an excellent brain to clean them and throw them out. He'll simply pick them and throw them out. So he will have associate with like-minded people, and the group will be very strong. They will live together forever. So that the friendship what Mercury and Saturn can do is for a lifetime. So they have they have a very strong strength to fight enemies. So these people are very, very resilient. They will not give up any task that easy. So if it is badly posited, if there is a retro Saturn in the 10th house along with Mercury, if Mercury is retrograde along with Saturn in the 10th house, intricate problems, one by one, let us talk about it. If both are Dagda, that is stationary, Mercury is stationary, Saturn is stationary, it usually does not happen at all. But let us say it happened. Usually it doesn't happen, because when Sun is very close to Saturn, Saturn doesn't get retrograde, or it cannot lose its speed. And Mercury does not get retrograde just like that. So, Saturn, only Mercury can become Dagda, because Mercury is always 28 degrees away from Sun. And when Sun is so close by, Saturn cannot become retrograde. Why did I use the Saturn retrogression? I also don't know. I should have kept that in mind, that Sun is very close to Saturn. It cannot become retrograde when it is that close to Sun. Even if I put 10 degrees more to that 28 plus 10, 38 degrees, also Saturn should not get retrograde when it is so close to Sun. So anyway, you please have to amend all those sentences where I have said Saturn is retrograde. We will only take Mercury retrogression and Mercury being slow in motion. So that amendment should be there, because when I'm talking about Mercury, I should have in brain that Sun is very close by. I can't get carried away with that. So anyway, so I have corrected it now. So if Mercury is slow, the intellect will become slow, and it is associated with Manda, that is Saturn. So, in the 10th house, they will be trying hard to pass examinations, get promotions. It will not happen. It is very difficult to convince your boss that you can do that job and you can get that promotion. It is very difficult. So, let us say Saturn and Mercury both are in good normal motion, but there is a malefic, like let us say Rahu sitting. So there will be a lot of confusion, a bad boss or a tough, project going abroad, dissatisfied. All these things can happen because of that Rahu sitting there. What if it is the own sign for Rahu, like Kumbha? Saturn is there, own sign, Rahu is there in Shatabisha Nakshatra, and Mercury is also there. A fantastic combination for escalation, and he will simply fly high. So there are a lot of intricacies which we need to see, and the I'm again telling you that please correct all those places where I said Saturn is retrograde. Okay, we'll also mention it in the description. I just got carried away when I was explaining these intricacies. So thank you very much for today's class.